Hello, it's Maggie. Today I'm doing Cancer of the Month, Kevin Hart. So everyone knows he's an actor, comedian, uh, director, producer of his own comedy shows um, on Netflix. Yeah, he's pretty funny, and he starred in a lot of films. But anyway, Kevin Hart was born July 6, 1979, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Um, at 10:13 a.m. So Kevin is Sun 13 degrees Cancer, Moon is 0 degrees Sagittarius, and his ascendant is 7 degrees Virgo. So first of all, he has everything in the southeastern quadrant. It's just all on that side of his chart. There's really nothing on the other quadrant other than Chiron and Chiron and Taurus, and he also has Neptune and Sag in the southwestern quadrant. Anyway, so Kevin, Sun in Cancer is in the 11th house of Aquarius, so that's networking with friends, associates. He probably has a lot of friends. Um, and it's in this 11th house of hopes and wishes. So, and his moon is in the third house of communication. So he, re- he really has it going on with this house of communication. That's Gemini's house. So he has both the moon and Uranus in Scorpio in the third house. So that just kind of spells out what his comedy is. It comes from a scorpionic place. Uh, no boundaries. It's like a higher octave of Mercury, and so it's sudden, unpredictable, off the wall, changeable, and freedom. So, yeah, his comedy and the things he stars in would be erratic and changeable. And his moon is 0 degrees, so he pretty much has to communicate, and it may come across in a Scorpio way. The trade's ruled by Scorpio. Um, yeah, he's he's got some inconjuncts going on. I'm not going to have time to do all his aspects, so it's just kind of an overview. Yeah, so the Sun in the 11th house of Aquarius, um, kind of a mutual reception, having the Uranus in the third house, communication, and the Moon. His moon is his ruler. His sensitivity. He comes across that way. He really comes across as a Cancer. And Cancers can be loony in their humor. They can really be loony. But with Uranus too in the mix, and having them both in Scorpio, it could be, um, yeah, he could have some dark humor too. It could have sexual overtones. I don't know if they might have to censor some of it out, but his friends probably know his humor. Um, he is driven to work. He is so driven to work because he has Virgo on his ascendant. His ascendant is 7 degrees Virgo, and he has Saturn sitting right on his ascendant. That can feel really, really heavy. That can feel heavy. And he could kind of have a guilt complex if he's not working, or just it would give him perseverance to build structure. And it's the ruler of Capricorn. So it could give you serious personality. So underneath the comedy, he's got that going on, his Saturn. Uh, and so Saturn in Virgo took him far in his career. And he also has the North Node, what you're striving towards in this lifetime, in his first house of personality. That's in Virgo as well. So he was meant to put his imprint through his personality somehow, and he's certainly a big ball of personality. And it shows in his work, in his body of work. So his second house is in, he has Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio, in the second house of Libra. So Libra, that's how he makes his money. That's the money house. So he makes it through the arts. and Pluto just gives him power. Where Pluto is, it's a power. It could be like a power source. Of course, it's transformation and it's the ruler of Scorpio, but it also gives you incredible power. So he uses that in his work. In his work, Neptune he has in the fourth house in Sagittarius. That would be a lot of traveling, um, and also his career in the arts. Yeah, his family. So up in the midheaven, he really has a Gemini signature, both in the third house of Gemini and, with the Uranus and Moon, and Mars in Gemini, right smack on the midheaven in the 10th house. So there's no doubt with his career choice, no doubt that he was driven. Mars is driven. It's drive, it's passion, it's the ruler of Aries and Scorpio. So it's initiative. So yeah, it's like communication on steroids. So plus he has Venus 0 degrees. 0 degrees. Let me just make sure. Venus is 0 degrees Cancer. So it's kind of on the cusp of Gemini. So Gemini Cancer. So he uses his loony personality, humor through communication in his acting and comedy career. But having that in the 10th house and the midheaven and Mars, he was just driven and ambitious. Plus having his first house signature, Saturn on the ascendant and in Virgo with your North Node. It's like, he was driven, very much driven, and that's drove him to success. His Chiron is in Wounded Healer is in Taurus. So if he had any insecurities at all about money, certainly more than making up for it. Sometimes we overcompensate for our insecurities, our Wounded Healer. Jupiter, yeah, his 12th house is great. That's his Leo. So again, that's his career in Leo is creativity, it's self-expression, and Jupiter's a good luck planet. It's good luck, it's a benefic, it expands. So it's in the 12th house. So his imagination is extremely creative, extremely creative. His ideas and I don't know his whole career, but he may produce, direct, just anything he touches. Also music, it's possible. Anything 12th house, that's the house of Pisces. So to have Jupiter in Leo is good luck in any of the creative arts. And he is a forceful personality. So it expands his leadership role, and yeah, in the arts. So yeah, I already went over Pluto in Libra. Yeah, so everything's on this side of the wheel. I'm just going to kind of go around the wheel on that side. Yeah, on the southeastern quadrant. So yeah, Mars. Venus is 0 degrees Gemini. So he also uses that. He's got Venus, let's just say he's got Venus, Mars, and Gemini. That's a great combination in the 10th house of career. So that's beautiful for communication. But technically it's 0 degrees Cancer, and that is a critical degree. So people like him. Venus is what you like, and people like him. He's a likable personality because he has Venus 0 degrees Cancer and his sun is 13 degrees Cancer. So within like a 10-degree orb. This is 13, but yeah, it just makes him a very likable personality with Venus there. But it also can kind of color at Gemini as well. So if you look to the midheaven, I look for everything up there in the two houses, you know. So I would look to Cancer and Gemini, and yeah, he's got it going on up there, and he's using his talents very wisely. Um, he's got some beautiful water trines between his Cancer and his Scorpio, so that helps him again in his communication. Uranus is the ruler of the 11th house, and the sun, his sun in Cancer, his sun in Cancer is trine Uranus and the moon. So that helps again with his unpredictable, off the wall, loony humor, you know. They're in the same element, so it really helps his creativity, his delivery. His delivery is fast and furious, and his ideas are, I don't think he'll ever run out of ideas because he has Jupiter in the 12th house, and it's the 12th house of Pisces, and Jupiter is, and Jupiter's the ruler of Pisces. For one thing, it's the ruler of the 12th house, one of them, and Neptune is the other ruler. So having Jupiter and Leo in the 12th house really helps him with his imaginative career, ideas, intuition. He's extremely intuitive with this water trine going on. Beautiful water trine. I believe he's got a fire trine as well between Neptune and Jupiter and Mercury. So that again feeds into his Neptune being the ruler of the 12th house. It feeds into his creativity, because his Mercury, the ruler of the 3rd house, is Mercury's communication, thought processes. So it's conjunct. It's sitting right next to Jupiter. So Mercury, Jupiter, it's like he feels compelled to communicate. He pretty much has to with all these planets and their placements. And the Virgo ascendant would make him extremely analytical, detail-oriented. So he would be great at organization and, you know, maybe producing and directing his own Netflix special or whatever he does. He would have the skills because Saturn is structure. For some other people, Saturn sitting on their ascendant might denote depression, you know, or like life is hard, but it could also be perseverance, you know, perseverance. Yeah, I can't get into all his aspects. Let me just see if I covered them all. So he's got some squares going on, of course, between the Sun and Pluto. The Sun challenges Pluto in Libra. So that just, and his Sun being in the 11th house of Aquarius, that's media. That's media, electronics. Yeah, so his comedies, you know, all over the media, everywhere, in probably every form. So and squaring Pluto, that just gives it even more force. Squares are not bad; they're just they just challenge you to work harder, and actually, oftentimes they help you. So it's challenging his money house. So he's challenged to make money through the arts, through the communication, through the media, with his loony humor. I say loony because the moon, you know, lunar. Yeah, that they are funny and goofy. But I already talked about his Uranus in Scorpio. Yeah. Um, yeah, so he may do music too. His Venus is in conjunct the moon. Um, yeah, so he may not see that side of his personality, but all everyone else does. But that helps him as well in his comedy, his delivery. So believe I covered all his planets and houses. They're pretty much all on one side. So his elements are Mercury and Jupiter in fire, Leo, in the 12th house, in the 12th house of creativity, inspiration, uh, imagination. So he will never run out of ideas and creativity. And it just makes sense that he would either be in theater, acting, start a band, maybe he's into music. He could probably do anything he wanted to because Jupiter brings him good luck. And so close to Mercury, it's just delivery. I mean, anything he could rap, he could do anything he wants because he's got the planets working for him in the 12th house of Pisces. But they're in Leo, so Leo, he shines. That makes him shine. Um, so that's his Leo, and the Moon, Neptune are in Sagittarius. So Moon is 0 degrees, 0 degrees Sagittarius. So it's right on the cusp, right on the cusp of the third house, and right on the cusp of Sagittarius and Scorpio. So that would give him a universal appeal, very open-minded. Um, yeah. So anyway, that's his fire, his other fire. He's got the Moon. Let me just make sure about, yeah, his moon's 0 degrees Sag, so that gives him fire. He can claim that fire. Uh, I was thinking it was water. When you look right at it, it looks like water, Scorpio. But you know, he probably feels a little bit of both. He probably plays out a little bit of both. But yeah. So anyway, his fire is Moon in Sagittarius and Neptune. So that would make him broad-minded. He would like traveling, legalities, philosophy, just, you know, very open-minded, high-minded person. Um, Air, he's got Pluto in Libra, and Mars and the MC. Mars and the MC is the midheaven. But I also looked at his Venus as well. It's up there as well. Um, yeah, because it's so close. It's so close, 0 degrees. So the water is Sun, Venus, and Uranus in Scorpio. So he's got that beautiful water trine for inspiration, feeling. His feelings are very, very deep, and you know, that's what comedy is. You know, it's a lot of times about struggle and difficulties you've had in your life, and you just it's about pain. You know, feeling your pain and bringing it out in comedy, and that's what he does. So yeah, you have to go really deep to do that. Really deep to do that. So his Earth is Chiron and Taurus. Chiron and Taurus in the ninth house of values. So one of his values, well, it's the house of Sagittarius, is to, you know, material assets. That's one of them. Maybe he felt insecure about them at one time, but now he's worked very hard to overcome that. Um, Earth, yeah. So yeah, he leads with Earth. He really leads with his Earth, with his ascendant, 7 degree ascendant in Virgo, Saturn in Virgo, 9 degrees, and North Node, 10 degrees. So they're conjunct. They're conjunct. So he is a hard worker. He has perseverance. He's practical. Has stamina. Um, very, very strong Earth qualities that helped him to succeed. Um, yeah, so I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop there. You know. Okay, one more. His opposition. I talked a little bit about his squares. Yeah, Saturn square Mars just really, 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 if really made him persevere. Of course, it would be in communication because Mars is in Gemini, and Saturn was just beating him up all the time with a whip, like, you know, driven, like driven. And if he's not working, you know, um, Saturn sometimes can be guilt. You might feel guilty, you know, if you're not. So that's what drove him, that square. But the opposition between the moon and Mars, the feelings, his feelings, and Mars is communication. So that's kind of what he does. He communicates. His delivery in all his films and everything is pretty much about his feelings. Yeah, but he does it in a comedic way. So, and he's very good at it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you do, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.